Meanwhile, the people defending Belichick, I find it interesting how it's coming out now. Yesterday we played you clips of Rich Eisen and the guys on ESPN sort of, expressing this, they're appalled that people would have the nerve to ask Bill Belichick about his job status, and they're stunned that this is coming up in New England and stunned that it's coming up in press conferences as he talked to the ownership about his job and whatnot. Sally Jenkins in the Washington Post wrote an interesting piece coming out of the weekend. I think she was here for the game. I guess she covers the Commanders. And she's long time been a friendly columnist for the Patriots. She was, heavily on their side during Deflategate and some other stuff. So she's, got good ties into the organization, has been a team-friendly columnist, shall we say. And she sort of paints this picture of Belichick just doing what he's always done, and he's going to go down with his principles intact and being what he's always been. She says that Bill Belichick has never been a pleaser, and he is as slit-eyed and lip-curled in these bitter end days with the Patriots as he ever was in his most triumphant ones. If the man is going out, and he may well be, it won't be with any show of sentiment. He seems intent on doing so as a man of whole drab cloth and dour expression, his stoniness intact. Like Bill's acting exactly the same now as he has in good times. Is that true?
No.
If it's possible, Sally, if you paid attention, he's gotten even bitchier and more paranoid and more defensive than usual. And it's obvious, if you pay attention, that he has. She says the swiftness with which Belichick has gone from a candidate for greatest coach ever to a man trying to coax a 2-7 team into competence has allowed all of his backbiters in the door. Anyone he has ever been rude to or uncooperative with, and the numbers are apparently legion in the press, is now predicting he will be fired by season's end and maybe before then. So this is how I know. So now people are being mean to Bill just because he's been mean to them. This is why this is being brought up. Again, she says that it's allowed all of his backbiters in the door. Anyone he has ever been rude to or uncooperative with is now predicting he will be fired by season's end. So this is she's just saying,
payback.
The only reason you're saying this is because he wouldn't give you the story.
Right.
Which is what Bill would say, or Bears would say, or someone close to Bill would say, well, the media's just piling on because he's not good with the media. No, I think people are piling on because they're 2-7 and the thing's going in the toilet. And, certainly some media people maybe, I don't know, are taking the chance to fire back a little bit, but I don't get that sense. I really don't. I think the guys that, I think they're 2-7 and the team is circling the drain and the coverage is reflecting it. It's not a personal thing with Bill at this point, I don't feel like. She says, Gillette Stadium felt like a mansion gone to seed as the once great Patriots heard scattered boos rain down Sunday against the Commanders. Belichick's demeanor afterward was his perpetual one, that of a druid in a dank cell, his murmurs barely audible and lapsing into silence.
Yep.
Good line, which is true. And then she says, and then she gave some examples of the media piling on. The Patriot way is dead, Mike Florio announced on NBC's Pro Football Talk on Sunday. He proceeded to shred Belichick's career, positing that Belichick was always overrated and had been saved by Tom Brady, and his influence on the league had been, quote, a cocktail of arrogance and dismissiveness. She says the New York Post blared Bill Belichick's coaching tree has an alarming number of dead branches. She says the Athletic jumped in on the pummeling by quoting an unnamed NFL executive calling for Belichick to be relieved sooner rather than later and labeling the Patriots' descent from perennial contender to missing the playoffs, quote, an indictment. The theme of all these critiques, she says, is that Belichick's demanding nature no longer works in the modern NFL and that maybe he was never really that good. She writes, that is just nonsense. She says that is unjust nonsense. If it's time to unpack Belichick's legacy, then it's also time to observe that the quality Belichick is blamed for now, his unwillingness to compromise and refusal to go with the theme of the week, as he once said, is the same one that made him for 2 decades, right up until 2021, a dynastic overlord whose only historical rivals are Shula and Alice. Boy, do you think she's in with Belichick or what?
Right up until 2021?
Right up until 2021. Good point.
What was she watching in 2020?
Not the Patriots.
Or 2019 in the second half.
I mean, what? So, and then here's a tell. Here's a tell that she's in, and it's okay. She's got sources and we all have sources. I mean, I don't, but most people who write in a newspaper, they have guys. So Belichick or that side is her guy.
You used to.
I used to, right? I've been on every side of this thing.
Mostly punters.
Anyway, at his best, Belichick's teams had a mechanistic, comprehensive excellence that could not be attributed to the virtues of any one player, no matter how great Brady was.
Oh, my God.
At his best, Belichick's teams had a mechanistic, I don't even know that word.
I think it's mechanistic.
Mechanistic.
Like, a mechanical quality.
A machine-like quality.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. I mean, Belichick's teams had a machine-like quality.
Which is what she should have written.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
A comprehensive excellence that could not be attributed to the virtues of any one player, no matter how great Brady was.
Yeah, they could.
Example, she writes. During their run of dominance, the Patriots committed fewer penalties than any other team in the league. In 18 playoff games between 2011 and 2017, they were whistled for infractions at about a 25% lower rate than their opponents. Think about that, she says. They were fully one quarter better than their opponents operationally when it counted most. What stands out to me is, where did you get that number? Sally, where'd you get that number? In 18 playoff games between 2011 and 2017, the Patriots were whistled for infractions at about a 25% lower rate than their opponents. They were fully one quarter better than their opponents operationally when it counted most. Where did you get that number? Did they log that? I mean, when I say they, like,
You can search it on certain websites.
so that's it?
Yeah, but that's an odd window to pick.
Do you think she searched that up?
No.
I mean, I
No, and I'll tell you why.
I wouldn't know where to begin to get that number.
Okay, so I know where you could look it up, but the thing that why did she pick that window?
2011 and 2017. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl they won the Super Bowl in 2018. They won the Super Bowl in 01, 03, and 04. But she picked an 18-game sample between 2011 and 2017, in which she found that they were whistled for infractions at about a 25% lower rate than their opponents. Where'd you get that number? Why'd you pick that sample?
Because someone clued her into it.
I mean, so it's like...
But I'll tell you what, I will grant that.
Sure. I mean, I'm not telling you the number's false. I'm just
No.
telling you it stinks that she got that
Yeah,
number.
totally. No, 100%. It totally does. But his teams were well drilled.
Definitely.
Yeah, he was. I mean, that's fair. Like, I don't dispute what you're getting at. I will generally allow for that. But I still come back to the same thing. They were, whether Brady was great or not, are you on crack? Seriously.
So, I mean, this is like Lombardi, I think, Mike Lombardi, Sally Jenkins, like, what's Bill's side of the story? It's going to come out. It's coming out. You just need to know where to go. And Jenkins is one of the places.
2011 to 2017.
18 playoff games from 2011 to 2017. I mean, you could have just gone from 01 to 19, 2001 to 2019, or you could have gone from 2000 to 2023 right now. You could have done the whole thing.
Totally right.
But somehow we got a sample from 2011 to 2017. Interesting.
And if he's so
And
great
that's
at...
sorry, but that's it just hit me. That's the time that most people correctly look at Brady as the more important piece. So maybe he or Berge or someone on Bill's side gave that number to Sally saying, like, well, people want to say it's Brady, but look how disciplined we were. To which I would also add, who were the team more worried about disappointing? The guy on the field or off it? I would say on.
Yeah, the other thing is, how come she didn't mention what the penalties have been the last 3 years?
I don't know. I'm not telling you. That was the sample she used. So she must have, spent hours and hours and hours and hours going over the spreadsheets and the data and came up with this one. Or someone on Belichick's side just slipped her a number to show her, what was going on. But either way, I'm happy it's all coming out because it's all coming out. You just need to know where to go. I'll give you one more Sally Jenkins thing. Really get your vomit towel ready. She writes that one of the reasons Belichick has been such an uncooperative cuss all these years with the press is that he deeply suspects the effect of popularity, finding it interruptive and corrosive. So again, she's saying the reason he's such an a-hole is because he suspects the effects of popularity. He finds it interruptive, corrosive. He's an ingrained anti-elitist who, yes, has preferred to win with squads of thankless, overstriving and underpaid dependables rather than superstars. That's because he has always understood that football has far too many manifold dependencies to rest on one man's arm or a genius headset. And he has lived out the consequences of that view of the game, for better or for worse. Once, at an event, Belichick agreed to have dinner with Peyton Manning, she writes. When a limo pulled up at their hotel, Belichick got in the front seat with the driver, leaving Manning alone in the plush back while he chatted up the working man at the wheel.
How about that? He's an everyman.
He really is.
Yeah. He made Manning sitting back while he sat with the driver and chatted up the working man at the wheel. Oh, brother.
No, he is. He's an everyman.
And again, where'd she get that one from?
And also, the first part of that is all one big shot at Brady because he believes he became a big-headed, big-egoed a-hole who kind of undermined the team.
But excusing away the fact that he's just an a-hole, on the fact that it's corrosive to the team, that superstardom, the effect of popularity, is interruptive and corrosive. So he's going to fight this by being a complete a-hole.
Yeah. Right, unless he's the one who's popular, then it's okay.
That is some pretzel twisting, man.
His attitude's justified, you see.
He's an ingrained anti-elitist.
No, he's not. He is one.
Who, yes, has preferred to win with squads of thankless, overstriving, and underpaid dependables rather than superstars. That's because he's always understood that football has far too many dependencies to rest on one man's arm or a genius headset. She includes them. So anyway, I just found that column interesting. There's the Belichick side for you.
An anti-elitist. So is he going to grab lunch at like the hometown buffet or Little Caesars? Just like, I want to hang with the common folk because this is what I am. Like, give me a break with that. What a crock.
Sat with the limo driver.
Oh, yeah.
And made Manning stewing back.
Yeah, he did that just to piss off me.
I was going to say, maybe Manning said something in the media the week before that Bill got a hair across his ass about, so he sat in front. Who knows? Who knows? It's not the thing she's saying that's somehow corrosive to a football team. Would you stop with this nonsense? It's garbage.
No, again, he sat in the front limo, but he did go out to dinner with Peyton Manning.
Okay, let me ask you.
He didn't go out to dinner with the limo driver.
Is the superstardom of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce corrosive and, what's the word, interruptive and corrosive to the Chiefs?
No.
I think the Chiefs have been to 6 straight AFC title games and 3 straight Super Bowls. Do I have that right? I mean, my numbers are off by 1. I think it's 3 straight Super Bowls. They've won 2 out of 3, been to 3 straight Super Bowls, and I think 5 or 6 straight AFC title games.
And the tight end is dating the most famous human being on planet Earth.
They're as superstar-y as it gets. Is that interruptive and corrosive?
Nope.
It's nonsense. Belichick's stuff is nonsense. It's not how you win. Don't we see it now? Don't you see it now? But we're still going to promote the fact that superstars are interruptive and corrosive?
They're interruptive and corrosive to him.
To him. They're not interruptive and corrosive to winning. Excellent point, Mazz.
It's everything with him. It's always about him. That's the problem. It's like the whole thing is about how he perceives it. This is why nobody on the team could ever be big, because he didn't want them to be bigger than him.